Welcome to another Ivy League Mindset podcast, guys. And we got Alex Moore here.
Hello.
So, a little bit of background from Alex. I'll just speak a little bit before he takes over here. But been doing jiu-jitsu a long time. Good inspiration. Lost a lot of weight. But we'll speak on that.
Okay.
So, how old are you?
52.
52?
Yeah.
So, still training. Over 50, I think that's amazing. And that's something that I think is important for people to understand, that it's never too late and that you should try your best to get to these levels and continue on, right?
Absolutely.
So how long have you been training jiu-jitsu?
10 years.
10 years, yeah. And before that you trained...
Karate, judo, aikido, and kung fu.
Yeah, and I noticed your Instagram username is jiu-jitsu. Why did you choose jiu-jitsu over all the other ones that you've trained?
I was doing all those other activities, but I kept gaining weight and kept gaining weight.
Yeah.
And then when I started jiu-jitsu, there came a point where I realized I had to stop. So jiu-jitsu really did save my life.
Yeah.
That's what started everything.
Yeah. So you said over 10 years. As you can kind of see, is that he's a brown belt. So getting to brown belt is not an easy task. Yeah, so we were just talking to actually a blue belt, and there's a thing called the blue belt blues that we talked about, and it's a point where it gets hard to get better to that next stage. But we talked to him about grinding through and just trying to get better. Essentially, that's
right.
That's everything I know about Alex. Is he's always trying to get better. So one thing. How much weight have you lost?
140 pounds.
And can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was 440 pounds. I was type 2 diabetic, and I was having dizziness, neuropathy, where you can't feel your feet and your fingers. And I realized if I didn't do something quickly, I was going to die.
Yeah.
And we fool ourselves into thinking everything's fine until you start to realize you're passing out or you're waking up on the floor. That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So then, when you wake up out of that slumber, you fooled yourself all those years. Yeah. Now it's time to fix it.
Yeah.
So it started with realizing about sugar and about carbohydrates and about all of that, and then fasting, intermittent fasting, 1 meal a day with my jiu-jitsu. And then I've come to see you to help me to have the proper way to stay fit instead of building muscle, because muscle weighs too much. And my knees were terrible.
Yeah.
I was going to have surgery if I got any heavier, and they were tremendously painful. The pain's all gone now.
Yeah.
I will eventually have to have surgery, but I pushed that off for a long time and saved my life by not having type 2 diabetes, which causes everything else in your body to fail, and you can die.
Yeah. So reversing diabetes, it's for me, that's the second time I've ever heard that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's incredible. Congrats.
Thank you.
That's huge.
I took Dr. Jason Fung's advice, and he's done
Can you
this.
speak up a little bit? Sorry.
Dr. Fung's advice. He's written all the books about fasting, 1 meal a day, and all this. And he's done this for 3,000 people in his clinic. Yeah. So I never went to see him. I just read his books and I followed the program. Yeah. And I've done the same thing. Yeah.
And a lot of people have asked you how you've done it.
Yep.
Right. You look amazing. And this is only part of the journey, right? So you still continue on. You look.
I want to lose another 30 or 40 pounds to be the weight that I was when I was 21, which I'm 6'5". That's 265 pounds. Still, it's very big. Yeah. But I was about 8 or 10% body fat back then. Yeah. I'm not looking to be like that. I just want to be light as I can. And as healthy as I can be. Yeah. In every part of my life. Yeah. So
over 50, like still dropping weight. It's amazing. And when I met you, you've always tried to progress. Like I said, you host these open mats. We just rolled for 2.5 hours. Yeah. So people know we rolled for 2.5 hours. There's like 20 people in here. It's cool. People don't know. For the people that don't know, here in London, we have this group, No Politics, open mat rolls. Which is amazing because we got like 5 or 6 different academies coming together with no bullshit. We just get together, we just roll, we just have fun. Like even I could train at a different academy than Alex here, right? And we just I've been coming to this open mat for I think 6 years.
Been one of the first guys.
Yeah. So it's
We've been doing it for 10 years.
10 years. Yeah.
Started out striking,
So
and then
probably-
striking and jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
and then just jiu-jitsu. And people still want to strike, we can do that too.
Yeah.
But it's build a community. It's helped to build the community.
Yeah.
And to be part of the community. And as Hawk says, there's no bullshit.
Yeah.
There's no ego. There's no competition.
Yeah.
There's no meatheads. And that's the wonderful thing about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. You said that you're doing keto, right?
Yes.
How long you been doing keto?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. So that 2.5 years combined with the intermittent fasting, you reverse your diabetes?
Yes.
So just before you turn 50.
Yep.
So just, what was the turning point for you to decide, I got to try this next thing? Because you probably tried many things.
Oh, I did. I saw pictures of me. I was emceeing my friend's wedding in December of 2016. And I saw the pictures, and I was about 440 in the pictures. I was so big, in fact, we couldn't get a tuxedo for me at Moore's. I had to go to the big and tall place.
Yeah.
And I was listening to Rogan's podcast, and he had Gary Taubes on the podcast, who came down. He basically took on the sugar industry.
Yep.
And that's what lit the fire for me, because I had everything else ready, and that's what I didn't realize.
Yeah.
So that's when I started. I dropped sugar and carbs, went keto, and then I started into the intermittent fasting, 1 meal a day, and extended fasting 2, 3, 4, 5 days.
Okay, so doing the prolonged fasting.
Yeah.
That's actually, shout out to Sean. He's been on our podcast too, and I think it's amazing that people are doing whatever it takes to make their life better, right? Especially, at 49, you've tried many things, so to have that mindset to be like, you know what, I'm going to try this next thing. To not lose hope and keep trying, that's what it's about too, right?
Yep.
Same thing about jiu-jitsu, right?
Absolutely. It's
That
the
kind
very
of
same
stuff.
thing. We've taught our neural pathways in our body how we learn jiu-jitsu. And if you apply that same ethos to everything in your life, you're going to get through all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard sometimes, and you're going to have problems with your family or your kids, and you're just going to be positive and work it out, and you're going to methodically go through the process. Take your opponent down, pass their guard, get your positions and submit them. It's the same thing with life for me.
Yeah.
It was a big problem that I had a hard time overcoming.
Yeah.
That I've learned how to. I'm not perfect, but I've learned how to overcome it, and it's happening for me.
I absolutely agree with that. And I say this all the time, is when you have a problem and you break it down to manageable chunks where you can keep breaking it down, or you're able to do that movement or handle that piece of life that is giving you trouble, right? I like that. Like, what motivates you to keep on with this weight loss journey? Is it your kids, your wife, your family, other people? What is...
It's a package for me. At first it was very selfish. I didn't want to have the pain, and I wanted to, and then I realized, I've got kids and they're going to have kids, and I want to live as long as I can, healthy, to be with them. I could keep living that way probably live a pretty long life, but you wouldn't be comfortable at the end.
Yeah.
And as healthy as I can be now will make those last 5-10 years more comfortable.
Yeah.
You can be with your family. You necessarily may not have dementia. My father died from dementia, and it could have been sugar and carbs. We don't know.
Yeah.
So I've avoided those things. I don't want to have that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's certainly part of it is for me, but it's also for my family.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that for sure.
Yeah.
Like, in turn, it always ends up helping other people, which some people don't know that, but it's not a bad thing to be for yourself, right?
Yeah, that's where it starts.
Did you see your own kids, did you see a vision of your own kids headed down the same path?
Absolutely. Me doing this, my middle child is a big guy too.
Yeah.
He's probably down 70 pounds. We took the craft dinner out of the house, and there's never been really pop in my house, but that's terrible for kids, and chips and all this kind of stuff. So they're eating healthy too, because we're eating healthy. My wife's even doing it now too.
Yep.
She followed my lead. It didn't work as much because of hormones. I gave her all the books to read, and I help her with that, and she's doing well too.
Do you find leading by example is very important?
My whole life.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I've been in leadership positions most of my life, school captains and presidents of student council and that kind of stuff, manager, whatever.
Yeah.
You have to lead by example. You have to do the thing right.
Practice what you preach, right?
Do it right and show people how to do it.
Yeah.
So for me, gaining all that weight was, at first I just felt bad about myself and realized, oh man, I've done a terrible job of being a leader here and showing my children. But then I realized that it was all from depression. My father was sick and dying, and you don't think about you just deal. And then after that's all done, you realize you got to fix that. You can not fix it, and go down that path, or you can fix it and have a better path. So I wanted a better path.
Yeah.
And for jiu-jitsu, I mean, sometimes, I'm sore. I work every day. I work hard. Sometimes it's, you know what, to come and roll with you savages for 2.5 hours, you don't feel like you're up for that sometimes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But you go.
Yeah.
And here we are, and we feel great, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're doing a podcast at it, right? So.
Yeah, nothing. And when I say jiu-jitsu saved my life, I really mean it.
Yeah.
And my friends, some of my friends who don't do jiu-jitsu are tired of me saying it.
Yeah.
But the ones that I've brought out, it's changed their life too.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh man, thanks so much for bringing me. Well, I knew you'd like it.
Yeah.
You know.
So people know too, like I talk about jiu-jitsu a lot on podcasts and different people who do jiu-jitsu. And there's a reason why I feel like jiu-jitsu, and everybody can find their own thing, but I find that people who do jiu-jitsu, we get humbled often. So we have a different kind of mindset when it comes to like just handling, like Alex said, he had a long work week. He's busy with his kids, his wife, doing all the things that he has to do, but he still comes out here. I think that teaches you discipline, teaches you getting humbled, to be, keep your feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Right? So I think there's many lessons to be learned in jiu-jitsu, but finding your jiu-jitsu. So when jiu-jitsu is for me, jiu-jitsu is for Alex, that's why we talk about it, but finding the thing for you, like another person we just talked to, golf is his thing, judo is your thing, or rock climbing, or whatever the case is. It's finding that thing that teaches you a lot of lessons, right? And being able to transfer that energy from one thing to another. Like, I think you're amazing at it.
Thank you.
I really do. Like, since I've met you, I could tell that you do many different things, never complain, just do your thing, right? And people ask you all the time, that's why you're a great inspiration. You practice what you preach.
Try to.
Right?
I mean,
you try to, yeah.
You've shown me a lot too.
But that's part of it though, right?
You're never perfect.
Trying to.
Just try to do it and try to work it out.
Yeah.
I was rolling tonight with somebody that I've had a real hard time with, and sure, they're younger than me and they're a purple belt, but I'll tell you something, he's very strong and very good at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And it's humbling, but that's what we need. The ego stays outside. You're not going to tap everybody.
Yeah.
You're just not.
Yeah.
And if you just get better. And as you get older, when I'm in my 60s, and my victory is going to be, that white belt couldn't tap me that time.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And I plan to do this until I'm done, until I roll off the planet. So that could be 20 or 30 years or 40 years, who knows?
Yeah. How important is it to keep it fun for you?
It's the most important.
Yeah.
If it's hard all the time, or people are yelling and tapping and angry, and we don't have that kind of club, for one thing. Our open mat certainly isn't like that either.
Never.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Nobody's going 100 million miles an hour.
Yeah.
And tournaments are different, okay? But in my club, it's we're all trying to learn. And sure, new white belts come in and look at me and they're terrified because, there's 7 of us in our club that are big guys, right? In different stages of weight loss, and they're all doing basically what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
And I see that, but then when they realize, we're just a bunch of gentle giants or gentle savages.
Yeah.
You come to this open mat and you see that. People are very accommodating.
Yeah.
Right?
So if anybody's in the London area, just look up London Open Mat. You guys are always welcome. So
always.
Yeah. Before we close this off, Alex, can you give the listeners just a little bit of advice if they are having either a hard time trying something new, or if they're trying to lose weight?
Sure.
And they're very discouraged. They've tried many things. What would your advice be?
Well, I've got a pretty well good setup for bullet points. So dieting is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And if you ask me, it's a lot of scam out there that's just aiming money at people that are never going to lose the weight, or they lose the weight and they bounce back. You have to figure it out for yourself. However, what we've learned is that carbohydrates and sugar, especially in the form that they're in now, are not great for the modern human being.
Sugar will never be.
Right? It's probably poison, right?
Yeah.
I feel the same way about corn. So I went low carb and keto almost right away.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then you realize that people talk about intermittent fasting and fasting. Mm-hmm. When you're a low carb diet and doing keto, it's so easy to fast because your body's not craving carbohydrates. I was at my doctor the other day and I said, is there any possibility that the people that make white flour are making something into it that make us crave it? Which sounds like the tinfoil hat brigade.
Yeah.
But he says, that's possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I just avoid this stuff.
Yeah.
Completely. Also, you don't have to go crazy with this. If you're just going to do a calorie reduced diet and still have carbohydrates, I'm afraid that's going to be a long road for you to do, because it didn't work for me, and most people I know it doesn't work. So reducing carbs and sugar, just starting with that, just that alone, okay? And as you get older, weight loss seems to be 80% diet and 20% activity. When you're young, it's reversed, because you could eat almost anything, right?
Yep.
And it was 80%, it was all activity, and 20% was diet. So now, I mean, I guess you probably could lose weight but without too much activity, but you will not have the same satisfaction in life, just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And jiu-jitsu is one. Sure, we're crazy about it. Maybe too much, 35 gis.
Yeah.
But you could cycle, you could go to the gym, you could do your program.
Whatever, yeah.
Whatever. I like jits because there's a community. There's really awesome, cool people. You learn to defend yourself if you didn't know how before. And you can just have a great time. So there's that. And also to keep a positive mindset and to realize that you're going to have these things called non-scale victories, where the scale may not change, but your pants fit.
Yeah.
That you wore 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or your wife says to you, "Oh, look at you! My goodness, you look smaller again." Or "Holy smokes!" Something like this, right?
Yeah.
These are tiny little things that all add up to make your life a little better.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Like some people are obsessed with the scale, but it doesn't tell the whole story, right?
No, not at all.
So if you feel better, that's part, right? You can move around, that's part, right? So all these things that's great advice.
All of this allows me to be positive about most things all the time, to lead my kids that way, to not lose my temper when they do silly things with the kids. It's what they do. One of my kids is disabled, so I live life through an autism filter sometimes, to try to just listen to what he has to say as well. Yeah. Do this in your life, do some positive change like this in your life, allows you to be positive in almost every other area of your life.
Again, with that transfer of energy on one thing, you're able to do it with another thing.
The black clouds just go away.
Yeah,
right? And now
that's it.
I really believe that you can manifest positivity into your life yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.